While SABC News international editor Sophie Mokoena is in studio with us to give us more details on this shooting. Sophie, a very good afternoon to you. Look, gruesome scenes from the concert center in Moscow. Talk to us about the impact of this attack.
Well, clearly there's fear that President Vladimir Putin will definitely hunt those that are responsible for this disaster, and therefore the fear is that countries such as Ukraine are going to have to answer, as you heard earlier on him saying that they were able to track the perpetrators just near the border of Ukraine, and therefore now this is going to again add speculation and continue to add pressure to Ukraine, because the first target will be to look at what could have been the role of Ukraine. And we know that the past few hours, in the 72 hours, we saw Russia attacking Ukraine. And therefore, the issue is the revenge, what is going to happen, and who is going to be affected. But we saw world leaders condemning the incident, as you pointed out, the United States of America and also other European countries in Asia, in Africa, and in South Africa, the South African President Cyril Ramaphosa also issuing a strong statement. Let's take a listen at what President Ramaphosa had to say about this incident.
We were shocked and saddened to hear that up to 40 people, if not more, have been killed, and we pay our condolences to the people of Russia. I will be talking to President Putin in the next few days and intend to pay our condolences and of course to congratulate him on his victory and to discuss many other things, including the Ukraine-Russia war or conflict. So it's always sad when so many people are killed in a terror attack, and so our condolences go to the people of Russia during this very difficult time for them.
Now, Sophie, the US says that it warned Russia. What did they know, and why just a warning and not necessarily intelligence provided to assist Russia with the said possible attacks? And obviously, maybe talk to us about how this is going to impact, Putin's retaliation against those that are involved.
Well, it's not clear what kind of information the United States of America received, but because it was just days before the elections in Russia, perhaps the Russian Federation thought that it's one of those attempts to scare the voters. We know that during the election of the president of the Russian Federation, there were attempts to derail the elections, particularly in borders near countries that are not friends with Russia at this moment. And therefore, maybe the intelligence thought it's one of those attempts to scare the voters. But clearly, the United States of America had intelligence. The question is, how did they get that intelligence report? And therefore, that is why now you see a situation where those who are sympathetic to President Putin are saying why the information was in the hands of the Americans. What is the link, and what is the link with Ukraine? So you have again that tension escalating between Russia and the NATO member countries, particularly the United States of America, with all those questions. In relation to retaliation, we don't know. We don't know. We are waiting, and I am sure that he is going to retaliate. It might happen tonight, it might be tomorrow. So we are waiting to see what is going to happen. He just spoke to the Russians, addressing the nation, saying that he is going to retaliate. And you look at his capacity to track down the perpetrators. It was so quick. He was able to get them. The law enforcement agencies were able to apprehend the 4 and the others who are linked to this. And therefore, clearly they know by now who is responsible. And I am expecting him to hit the target very soon. The question is how many people are going to be caught in a crossfire.
A very quick one, Sophie. Has there been any reaction from the Ukraine at this stage, which was largely suspected as being behind the attack?
Ukraine immediately, the advisor of President Zelensky immediately yesterday distanced Ukraine from the attacks and pointed out that they are not involved. But the latest information that they were going to use the border near Ukraine and that there were proper arrangements to ensure that they are able to get in and out. Now it is a problem, and as I pointed out now, different people within the security cluster or the Security Council of the Russian Federation, I'm talking here of Medvedev yesterday, you know, he's very, very strong and very passionate about these issues, saying that if Ukraine is involved, they will also do the same with the leaders of Ukraine. But the question is, do they have sufficient evidence that the leaders of Ukraine knew what was going to happen? And therefore, that is why I'm saying right now, many countries are worried in terms of how is President Putin going to retaliate, who is going to be affected, and who will be caught in a crossfire. And as you heard President Ramaphosa saying that he is going to call President Putin, I think he's going to do this today, and I'm sure he is going to persuade him to be careful in terms of how he conducts the retaliation and the research, or perhaps looking at those who are responsible. As you are aware that as we speak, South Africa is trying to bring together Ukraine and Russia to the talks. I spoke to the Minister of Security, State Security, a few days ago, who pointed out that they are pushing that finally the two countries must be on the same table to discuss peace.
All right, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much. That is SABC News international editor there, Sophie Mokoena, on the shootings in Russia there. We do understand that at this stage, of course, Islamic State has since claimed responsibility for the attack. So we will definitely be bringing you the latest news as soon as they become available to us.